British King Charles III will now succeed his mother, Queen Elizabeth II. But did you know that apart from the United Kingdom, he's also the king to Canada, Australia and New Zealand? I'm sure you're wondering, how is that possible? How can he also be the king of these three other nations? Let me decode it for you. Australia, Canada and New Zealand have announced their loyalty to King Charles III. These three countries are a part of the Commonwealth Realm. It is a group of 14 countries that recognize the British monarch as the head of their state. The Commonwealth Realm is a group of 14 countries in the Commonwealth of Nations, and these are a sovereign state. These countries recognize the British monarch as their head of the state, which means it is very categorically mentioned in their constitution and also in the laws of their country. So if there are 14 nations in the Commonwealth, why have only 3 announced their loyalty to King Charles III? The 3 countries are constitutional monarchies. Their political systems are oriented in a way that the new monarch of the United Kingdom would also become their head of state as a part of the usual process. In other cases, a change of law might be required before Charles III is proclaimed as the head of the state. But there are some countries who do not want the British monarch as their head of the state. And these are some of the nations who specifically have the republic sentiment in them. Like when Australia's Prime Minister Anthony Albanese appointed the country's first minister to oversee the transition to a republic, it triggered a referendum. The referendum had asked to remove the Queen as the head of the state. Another example is Barbados, which left the Commonwealth Realm after they became a republic in 2021. The Commonwealth Realm is actually a part of the Commonwealth Nations, which are 56 in numbers, and many of these are actually former British colonies who continue to be a part of the Commonwealth of Nations, including India. In the Commonwealth Nations, 36 countries are republic, including the countries of Indian subcontinent like India, Pakistan, Bangladesh and Sri Lanka. So the most visible uniting feature of the Commonwealth is a multi-sport international competition that is held every 4 years in one of the member countries. The Commonwealth in total is a home to about 2.5 billion people. The smaller nations in the Commonwealth realm, in those 14 nations, perhaps signify the last remnants of what was once a gigantic, massive colonial empire of the Great Britain from across the world. But today, about 150 million people outside the United Kingdom and part of the Commonwealth realm perhaps is a significant representation of that. The question remains, what happens next for the British monarchy? And importantly, even these Commonwealth realm are not exactly in direct touch with a relationship with the Britain. And will that continue or not? That remains to be seen.
For more informative videos like this, keep watching India Today Newsmo.